this Street Beat web exclusive. I am your host, Kristy Stanford. Approximately 10 million children nationwide have a parent who has been incarcerated. 2.3 million of those children, or roughly one child out of every 30, currently has a parent in state or federal prison. Joining us today to discuss how her program offers emotional learning, therapeutic, and embracing experiences for children with incarcerated parents is Sherelle Hogan, founder and CEO of Pure Heart Foundation. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. So let's jump into it.
Okay.
What is the reasoning behind you starting your organization?
Well, throughout my childhood, my parents were in and out of prison. So it led me to want to create change for those children because ultimately the parent goes to prison. The children is maybe left with the caregiver or another parent or sometimes even a grandparent or someone different in the family.
Right.
But no one is really trying to figure out what happens to the child. Everyone focuses on that parent that's incarcerated. What would they do when they're released, but what happens to that child? So growing up with my parents incarcerated, it was very, very devastating for me. And one of the things that I struggled with most was I felt alone. I didn't know any other children that was dealing with what I was dealing with. So that's why Pure Heart Foundation came about.
All right. What's the mission statement behind it?
The mission is to offer therapeutic emotional learning and embracing experiences for children of incarcerated parents. What we do is we want to prevent the prison pipeline for these kids. Statistics says that if your parent is incarcerated, you're most likely to go to prison as well. So that's what we want to prevent at Pure Heart Foundation.
What was it like growing up with, your parents being incarcerated? How did that make you feel?
I felt motherless, fatherless. I didn't feel as if they loved me because I couldn't understand why would they leave. And as a child, they never want to explain what's really going on. So for a long time, I grew up feeling like my parents had abandoned me.
Right.
How, they wanted to leave me, their responsibility, on someone else.
So since your parents were incarcerated, so who did you have, like a caregiver or you had like grandparents?
Absolutely. I lived with my great aunt.
Okay.
After that, I probably lived with everyone. Lived with my aunts, my uncles, friends, So it was very like moving around a lot for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So now with children today, how do you think that has an impact on their lives, like where they're trying to go in school and, their parents aren't there and they feel abandoned and, as a teenager growing up, it's just kind of like, okay, why are my parents not here? How does that impact a child's life?
It impacts them a great deal. First and foremost, their education.
Right.
Because when you are dealing with something so traumatic, you're not able really to concentrate. So when you're at school, you're supposed to be really concentrating on your studies, but you're thinking, when are my parents coming home? Is it my fault that they're in prison? What could I have done to prevent them from being there? So it affects them educationally, socially. You can really go the good way
Right.
or the bad way. So that's why we wanted to start Pure Heart Foundation, to make sure that these children know it's not your fault. You don't have to do the same thing, and you're not your parents.
Okay. Now, what kind of services does the program offer?
The program offers several services to children of incarcerated parents and also the caregivers and family.
Okay.
We do after-school programs, tutoring, mentorship, character development, self-enrichment. We actually have a session where they actually meet up and write their parent that's incarcerated, because one of the goals is to make sure that relationship with that parent is still strong and solid.
Okay. Now, do you guys have any like upcoming events or things that you do like weekly or monthly or anything like that?
Absolutely. So we meet for our after-school programs that will be starting back up in September.
Okay.
We meet every Saturday for them to write their parent that's incarcerated. We have our back-to-school event August 27th, and we have our second annual Living Beyond Your Parents' Incarceration event in November.
Okay. Now, what is that event about?
That's basically, we invite successors who have overcame this, and they talk to the youth and caregivers and families of these incarcerated,
All right.
children.
Now, how can people get involved? If people want to volunteer, like with mentoring the children and things like that, how can people get involved or even donate?
Absolutely. We have a website. It is www.pureheartcares.org, and it's a nice section for volunteering and donating as well. We can also be found on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at pureheart_foundation.
All right. For more information, follow Pure Heart Foundation on Facebook and Instagram. That's our interview. We would like to thank Sherelle for coming. Thank you for watching this Street Beat Web exclusive.